9:30, welcome back. Watching and following a war can be tough for adults. I don't know if you've been tuning into a lot of these things, but some of those images are hard to see. So how about kids? And your kids might be asking you some questions.
And joining us live this morning is Dr. Anna Shire with some advice for all of us on how to really reach your child on their level and share with them some details about what is happening. Try to explain, right, Anna? Good morning to you. What's happening in the world, which can be so difficult.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I think what's so one hopeful thing in the midst of something that's so, devastating to many of us is that these things that we're talking about today can be used to talk with kids about any number of traumas, whether it's a pandemic or a school shooting. But really, the biggest first thing that you want to check in with them is to find out what they know. For some kids, they may have some misinformation, and although they may fear, one thing, it could be that, the truth of it, they're worried about not having enough food or not having gas for the car, or, it could be nuclear bombs. So I think really the first thing that you want to get from your kids is what is it that they are grasping from the situation, and what does that translate to the specific fears that they're having.
We had a segment earlier, Dr. Shire, about people not wanting to be weighed before they went to the doctor. And I made a comment, I feel like we are softening as a society. Is it important, you think, or am I totally off base? Should you tell your kids what the reality of war is like? I'm not talking about details and things, but is it important for them to know there are unpleasant things that happen in the world? Not everything is great.
Yes. No, I think kids absolutely can sense our anxiety and our fear. So as much as we want to maybe, tell them that things are safe and wonderful, when they're not, it's they're going to have a sense of that. And so, I think that knowing that kids have that understanding of how we're feeling, if we try to hide that or mask that makes them more anxious, and that makes them feel even less safe. And that's the other thing that's so vital in a situation like this is that, once you find out what a kid's fears are, you help them feel safe. And so, all of us feel unsafe to some extent. So it's important to talk with them honestly, and to give them any information that you can to help them feel safe, and let them know how you're helping yourself feel safe.
So let me pose this question to you, Dr. Shire, because I think a lot of parents out there maybe have elementary school age and middle school children, like my family does. I have 3 children at school age. So my children are learning about world wars. And one of the questions I received was, are we going to have a World War III mom? And how would you respond to that question if your child came to you and asked that question?
So, it's interesting. Yesterday when I was in the office, I had a kiddo who expressed that specific fear. Are we going to get drafted? What does that mean? I'm not old enough. Well, my brother, he is old enough. Those are terrifying things to, from one week to the next, suddenly that's on your plate as something that you actually have to think about and navigate. But as a child, that's just, it's unfathomable. So at this point, our understanding and our knowledge of what's going on is, while it's a horrible, terrible, very frightening event, we don't look like we're on the brink of World War III. That being said, I think that's a fear of many people. And I think that we should look at everything that we can find together online and on the news and make sure that it's a reliable source. And let's try to figure it out together, because I'm worried too. And so I think being honest about what you're concerned about, but also being open with them and searching for the answer with them will help them feel validated and know that they're being taken seriously.
Oh, good point.
Yeah, no, a lot of good points, and making sure that they're getting, because there's a lot of stuff circulating on social media right now that just isn't true, and you got to make sure you have a good source.
Exactly.
Dr. Shire, go ahead.
This is a perfect time to teach your kids how to assess a reliable versus unreliable, piece of information that's out there, and they want to know. It's not like you're coming into the room and we need to talk about those people who are putting up fake things. A kid when they are invaded or they feel invaded that way is going to shut a parent down. But in a case like this where they want to know what's happening, this is just the perfect opening where they'll feel safe, they won't feel targeted, and you can do it together and learn how do you vet. What are the steps to vetting? And that's a skill that they'll need for so many other things outside of this particular issue that we're facing.
Dr. Shire, thank you for your time. We appreciate it, and it's good to see you. Have a great day.
I always love having you on the show.
Thank
We'll have you
you.
again soon.
Yes.
All right, Ron, what do you